There are 3 plants mentioned throughout biblical texts that modern science has finally proven can lower blood pressure more effectively than many people realize. These aren't obscure herbs hidden in remote locations. They're plants that have been growing in the same regions for thousands of years, quietly holding secrets that cardiologists are only now beginning to understand. Let's begin. Number 1. Garlic. When archaeologists opened King Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922, they found something unexpected alongside the gold and precious stones: dried garlic bulbs. The ancient Egyptians didn't place garlic with their pharaohs for flavor. They placed it there because they believed it held the power of life itself. But here's what most people don't realize. The Bible mentions garlic specifically in Numbers 11:5. When the Israelites wandered the desert and longed for the foods of Egypt, including garlic because they understood its medicinal value. Modern science now confirms what these ancient civilizations knew instinctively. Garlic contains a compound called allicin, which forms only when the plant's cell walls are crushed and 2 normally separate compounds combine. This is why biblical preparation methods always involved crushing or pressing garlic rather than simply chopping it. Allicin acts as a natural ACE inhibitor, the same mechanism used by many prescription blood pressure medications. A 2020 meta-analysis published in Experimental and Therapeutic Medicine reviewed 12 randomized controlled trials and found that garlic supplementation reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 8.3 mm of mercury and diastolic pressure by 5.5 mm of mercury. To put that in perspective, that's often enough to move someone from stage 1 hypertension back to normal range. The researchers noted that the effect was most pronounced in participants with elevated blood pressure to begin with. Ancient physicians in biblical times prepared garlic by crushing it with salt and letting it rest, a process that maximizes allicin production. They didn't understand the chemistry, but they perfected the technique through centuries of observation. The crushed garlic would be mixed with honey and consumed at sunrise, a practice that modern chronobiology research suggests optimizes cardiovascular benefits. And this is where things get interesting. Most commercial garlic supplements destroy allicin during processing. The garlic your great-grandmother grew in her garden and prepared fresh contains exponentially more active compounds than the pills lining pharmacy shelves today. Number 2. Olive leaf. While everyone knows about olive oil, the leaves of the olive tree hold a secret that was hidden in plain sight for millennia. Jesus retreated to the Mount of Olives before his crucifixion, and olive branches have symbolized peace across cultures for thousands of years. But the medicinal power wasn't just symbolic, it was biochemical. Olive leaves contain a compound called oleuropein, which is found in higher concentrations in the leaves than in the oil or fruit. Ancient Greek physicians, including Hippocrates, used olive leaf extracts to treat what they described as blood that moves too forcefully through the body. They were describing hypertension without understanding blood pressure as we know it today. The mechanism behind olive leaf's blood pressure effects involves nitric oxide production. Oleuropein triggers the release of nitric oxide in blood vessel walls, causing them to relax and expand. This reduces the pressure needed for blood to flow through the circulatory system. A 2017 study in the European Journal of Nutrition found that olive leaf extract reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 11.5 mm of mercury and diastolic pressure by 4.8 mm of mercury after just 8 weeks of supplementation. But here's what makes olive leaf particularly remarkable. It works through multiple pathways simultaneously. While garlic primarily acts as an ACE inhibitor, olive leaf also reduces oxidative stress in blood vessel walls and improves endothelial function. This means it's not just lowering blood pressure temporarily, it's helping repair the underlying cardiovascular damage that causes hypertension in the first place. Ancient preparation methods involved harvesting young olive leaves in early spring when oleuropein concentrations peak. The leaves were dried in shade, never direct sunlight, to preserve the active compounds. They were then steeped in wine or water for several days before consumption. Modern extraction methods often use heat or chemical solvents that can degrade these delicate compounds. Number 3. Hawthorn. The crown of thorns placed on Jesus' head is widely believed by biblical scholars to have been made from hawthorn branches. This wasn't coincidental. Hawthorn grew abundantly in the region and was already known for its medicinal properties. Ancient Hebrew texts refer to hawthorn as a plant that strengthens the heart of man, and archaeological evidence suggests it was cultivated specifically for healing purposes throughout biblical lands. Hawthorn contains a unique combination of flavonoids and oligomeric proanthocyanidins that work synergistically to support cardiovascular function. These compounds strengthen heart muscle contractions while simultaneously relaxing blood vessels, a combination that effectively lowers blood pressure while improving overall heart efficiency. Traditional Chinese medicine has used hawthorn for over 1,300 years specifically for cardiovascular conditions, calling it the heart guardian plant. Modern research validates these ancient applications with remarkable precision. A 2019 systematic review in Phytomedicine analysed 16 clinical trials involving hawthorn extract for cardiovascular conditions. The results showed consistent blood pressure reductions averaging 6.1 mm of mercury systolic and 3.6 mm of mercury diastolic. But the real revelation came from studying heart function measurements. Participants showed improved left ventricular ejection fraction and reduced symptoms of heart failure. What makes hawthorn unique among cardiovascular herbs is its dual-action mechanism. Most blood pressure medications either strengthen heart contractions or relax blood vessels, but rarely both effectively. Hawthorn achieves both through different pathways. The flavonoids act on calcium channels in heart muscle, improving contractility, while the proanthocyanidins stimulate nitric oxide production in blood vessels, promoting relaxation. Ancient preparation involved harvesting hawthorn berries, leaves, and flowers together during late spring, when all three parts contained peak concentrations of active compounds. The entire plant parts were dried and ground together, then prepared as a tea that was consumed twice daily. Medieval monasteries, which preserved much biblical botanical knowledge, maintained hawthorn gardens specifically for cardiovascular remedies and documented detailed preparation methods that closely match what modern phytochemistry suggests for optimal extraction. Here's something that should concern anyone interested in natural blood pressure management. The quality of these biblical plants available today varies dramatically from what was used historically. Modern agricultural methods, soil depletion, and processing techniques often reduce active compound concentrations by 60 to 80% compared to traditionally grown and prepared versions. Ancient cultivation methods involve specific harvesting times, particular soil conditions, and preparation techniques that maximize therapeutic compounds. The convergence of ancient wisdom and modern science reveals something profound about these three biblical plants. They weren't randomly selected by ancient healers. They represent some of nature's most sophisticated cardiovascular medicines. Garlic's ACE inhibition, olive leaf's endothelial support, and hawthorn's dual cardiac action provide complementary mechanisms that address hypertension from multiple angles simultaneously. What's remarkable is that these plants were often used together in ancient protocols, creating synergistic effects that modern research is only beginning to understand. The biblical approach to medicine wasn't about treating isolated symptoms. It was about supporting the body's natural healing mechanisms through carefully selected plant combinations. Which of these three biblical plants surprised you most with its blood pressure benefits? The evidence supporting their effectiveness continues to grow stronger as research methods become more sophisticated. If you want to explore more about how ancient plant wisdom applies to modern health challenges, subscribe for deeper insights into the botanical knowledge that's been hiding in plain sight for thousands of years.